Okay, so we are free associating. We're creating a religion for my property called We Are Martian. And we're at Starbucks. So I was talking in the last episode about... I gotta show you. About the... What was I talking about? Gnosticism, okay? And so, in case you guys don't know, put my sugar. Sorry, these episodes are going to be a little rough, a little out of sorts, so. But that's how I like to work, actually, so. You gotta take the good with the bad, as they say. Okay, so in case you don't know, We Are Martian is the story of Elon Musk type characters going to Mars. And then, like Dune, it's generations later. It's 3 generations later. You got to pick a number that you like. I think 3 is good. I use 4 in other properties. I use 7 in other properties. Right? And so, in case you don't know, with gematria, what it basically is, it's like having a synonym. Okay? So they say, well, this word means the same as this word over here. Right? That's what a synonym is, right? I was making jokes about the thesaurus. Stallonosaurus. He's got so many shows out, he might as well start a kid's cartoon, Stallonosaurus. I'd watch it. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Me, Stallonosaurus. Yeah. Anyway, so we got these people. They go to Mars. Okay, and I'm free associating, even though it's almost 9 o'clock. I'm always up at 7. Okay, so they're going to Mars, and there's a group of them. I don't know. Figure it out. But they're going there to colonize, so it's going to be a pretty big group. And within these 3 generations, you're going to have people born on Mars, right? So the people who are born on Mars, like I said, 1,000 years, whatever number you want to use. Oh, don't forget, I'm a Joseph Campbell man by way of the Atlantic Theater Company. Also, that's when I started getting into Jung more so than Freud. Freud was on the recommended reading list. That's the one that I went by because specifically of David Mamet and his work on the Untouchables. Now, take a look at the Untouchables. And like I said, I talk about gang life and this mob bullshit. Well, they sent him on a fake, right, bust where there was a bunch of, he thought he was getting the booze or the hooch. They were just having fun with them. But when he actually finds it, where does he find it? Okay. All right. So there's that. And I talk a little bit about the mob. When you have these guys, something came up in my scroll the other day. They're like, well, this Italian mobster, hey, 21 murders are attributed to this guy. Really? Well, who's going to jail for the murders? What does that tell you? Somebody's going to jail for those alleged quote-unquote mob murders, right? They're not just going to allow people to just get murdered in their town. That proves collusion with the police department right there, okay? So I'm a little bit leery about these made-up narratives, and you guys, I think you know why. Anyway, so we're talking about Gnosticism. We're talking about creating a new religion. For who? For me? Oh, I get to start a baby farm? Sure. You hear all this crazy stuff online about baby farms and like all this kind of dumb shit, okay? In case you don't know, I came out the other side of being black-pilled. I no longer care. I don't care about anything except for my creative endeavors. For the next 10 years, I'll be... Sorry for you, I'll be doing this show. We're going to see how it develops, how it changes over time. I started last year when I had a crush on a girl. I called myself Ken Jerkman, and I was making fun of the fact that everybody background checks people. Number one, it's very terrible. And take a look at the. Take a look. They're saying there's no redemption. This is what you are. You are your background check. Right? It's going down on your permanent record. Right? Anyways, I'm still mad about like school. I say it. I talk about it in my book, Two-Legged Animal. And by the way, the price of paper just went up, just like the price of toilet paper, just like the price of everything just went up. I live off my EBT menu, and I will be broke in a few days. I think I'm going to eat bologna sandwiches. I'll eat a pack of bologna and a pack of bread. No mustard. I'm not going to be carrying around mustard on me, you know. I used to be able to keep things in my car, but they're getting ready to tow my car. That's okay. We keep going. Right? I'm not worried about it. Because, like I said, I quit committing crimes years ago. And that's why these phonies in Michigan couldn't wrap their fucking minds around it. They had no idea what was going on. They created their own little narrative. And sure enough, 2018, when I go back, you guys see what happened. After my wife was torturing me for 6 years through the Facebook app, they were cranking the algorithm so high, I had to go for a CAT scan. And this is what it does. It reduces you down. These Fed rats know about this. This is about on FBI level. And like I said, these levels, they just toy with the other departments. That's why in JFK, that's why he said that these two, the FBI and the CIA, have a big rivalry. Well, they keep fucking with each other. That's what they were doing, basically. One of them's running drugs. The other one's trying to catch the drug dealers. They're just making fun of them. When they do, they get let go. Right? And again, when somebody goes to the joint, that's why I love The Sopranos so much. It was so genius. It took all of these myths and they said, okay, is this what you think about the mob? This is the real fucking mob, right? Of course, it's not quote unquote real because it's a television show. But he showed you, oh, you want to know what it's like? Yeah, this guy's stressed the fuck out. That's what it's like. If he really had to burden all this stuff. And again, what are these guys talking about? They're talking about local gambling degenerates. They're talking about local people who can't go to the bank for a loan. What is that? What is that showing? That's showing collusion between the mob and some of these banks. Look at Frank Carlotta talking about, oh, we robbed a bank and we did this. Well, that means somebody on the inside let these guys in. Right? I told you, if you want to go rob a bank, you just walk right in and ask for the money. They'll give it to you. And I'm not proving I don't need any money. Yes, I want money. I want to work. So, but I refuse to work with these simps anymore. And that's it. The reason this guy over here at this one job was talking about Illinois Nazis, huh? That's what he was talking about here. They were talking about trying to set me up to be the new Manson. That's what they keep talking about. That's what he was talking about. That's what this guy Kevin from Criminal Class Press was alluding to. And this guy colludes with Disconnected Records. So go fuck yourself now. How about that? Sorry, I get a little heated. I worked really hard my whole life to work on my talents and all this stuff, just to have the mick taken out of it by a bunch of no talent hacks. No, that's not gonna happen. So we're taking my songs and we're putting it into Linoleum Blown Apart, which is a new project that I just started. It's gonna take me a year to write. It's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be really rough. I told you guys I put the synopsis in ChatGPT, and it spit out probably something that is going to be picked up by one of these stupid networks because they don't really know what they're doing. They're so wrapped up into, hiring people who already have a following, instead of being true to having an amazing project, which is what you're going to see with Linoleum Blown Apart. You can bet your Bippy. Bippies are always being bet. Okay. So that's the reason I'm coming up with this Gnostic element. It's for We Are Martian. It's about a group of people. They go to Mars. And then what? They start habitating Mars. It becomes, right? And you can show a lot of futuristic things. Since we have all these public-private partnerships, you could show a lot of things from Google, a lot of things that they're trying to introduce into the culture. That's why I said I don't have an enemy in the world. I don't have an enemy in the world. I don't know why these guys are running game on me. People I don't even know coming up saying snide remarks, and man, I leave people the fuck alone, right? And when I quit alcohol, you're talking about me quitting from the time I was a child, man. That's a long time being an alcoholic and being shit talked about the person I am when the fact is we're all Americans here. What are people's problems? This is a projection. They project this, and what's making it worse is your device. We discovered orthogonality. You have to look it up yourself. There's always a link in the description. My bank account will be closed. There will be no more donations to my channel. I am homeless and I live in Los Angeles. I have 2 channels. One's called Fallen Angelenos and one's called the Grievance GOrDIE Show. I'll probably be changing it. I can't go to Twitter, guys. It's like a part-time job. It's too much. I got too much to do. And I'm going to take a year off, and I'm going to live off the EBT menu. I'm showing you what it's like to be homeless. Right? The guy showed me little Miss Silver Shield when I first moved here. He showed me the predators that they go around with, trying to get you on camera. I've already lived through it. I already know the score. And these are corrupt cops. That's why they tell you not to snitch, because if you snitch, 3 government workers will lose their job. Right? But we know it's all bullshit because it's a selective who they're going to investigate. Right? If you're one of the good old boys, you can get away with murder. Like I said, you got these quote unquote mob hits. You're going to have 20 dead people in your community? Really? Oh, we think 20 murders are attributed to him. Well, who's going to jail for the murders? You see what I'm saying? You got to read between the lines. You got to use your discernment. Okay? We don't care about these folk tales anymore. We're going into the future. Right? I talk about the things that I watch, the things that I like, the things that I'm interested in. David Mamet. I've always been about the mob and all that kind of stuff. I think every male child is. Right? Most male children, we grew up with this stuff, right? And so anyway, but anything could be a mob. We could see that. Anyone could be a clique or a group. You could have a motorcycle club, anything. So in We Are Martian, they're going to go to Mars. And so mathematically, you have to figure out where the position of the stars are on Mars and what they see in the sky. This is crucial. Okay? And so they're going to create their own new religion. Right? It's called We Are Martian. Why? Because they're coming to destroy Earth. And they're not effing around. And they're not taking these Earthlings crap anymore. Because they could see that they're superior to them. They could see it. They're just like, why are we... excuse me? He's got the big gray head. Big eyes. Excuse me? He's like De Niro. Excuse me? Beg your pardon? It's like... sorry, that wasn't a De Niro, but... Right? They're like, we're not listening to you anymore. We're like 3 generations born on Mars. There's nothing you can tell us. Right? And maybe they find a mineral, right? A conflict mineral. Something like that. Something that makes, people giddy. Right? And it can't be too close to the precious spice. It's not the precious spice. It's not going to be Dune. It is We Are Martian. You have to take what they believe is on that planet. And you have to utilize that. And the people, their bodies become emaciated. Why? Kind of like mine. Ooh, I'll show you how I'm living. Hello. And these fed rats are they're in my cloud. Because that's why you kind of get confused if you post your videos that you think that they're watching your video on YouTube, you're not getting any hits, and you're like, why are all these people like, because they're in the cloud and they're sharing this information. And that's why I said before, they destroyed me in 2018. They fried my brain, they fried my computer, right? And they were like, and this came from my wife. Oh yeah, it's just really truly sad. I was like, why are you with a person? What? Like, I couldn't believe it. They actually believe, that's why they're obsequious Philistines. They believe what's in the police report. And the fact is, these police make up whatever they want. And all these phonies are sitting there crying about police brutality. There's a little something called civilian review boards that ends the problem right there. I mean, these problems are very easily fixed. Why aren't they fixed? We know it's more than likely by design. They don't want them fixed because there's some other agenda coming up behind it. Just like you can see the trajectory of things through time. That's why I keep my mouth shut. I don't say nothing. I don't need an NDAA. Okay? Right? I learned that a long time ago. Not only coming up in my neighborhood, who was much tougher, harder, smarter, better, faster than Westland, Michigan and Royal Oak, Michigan, that's for sure. What a bunch of phonies. And by the way, let me tell you something. That's how they got Greg. Now, there was a guy, I was in a band called The Filth. That's how they got him too. They said that he had a brain aneurysm. And they got him with this tech, okay? He's an alcoholic. I don't know what happened to him. You have to look into it yourself. I don't have time for that shit, man. I'm busy. Okay? That's how they got him. In his house in Royal Oak with Rocco the dog catcher and all these other people who were calling me on the phone. That fake Dave Suzuki, he didn't die. He's a liar. It's a lie. That guy's not dead. He's a fed rat. He's been a rat this entire time. And he's probably been partially running that Facebook algo game. And what they do is they pass. Now, they could use Facebook. They could use, other apps on your phone, and they can cause confusion. And that's what they did, I believe, to Greg, but they probably used it in conjunction with the other one that gets you barking at the moon. And they melted his brain. And what happened? They got into his house and they stole his entire record collection. His record collection, I sold my record collection in like 93 for like $3,000. His record collection, he could probably get about $10,000 for it. So whoever ended up with it, with his records, right? I told you, that creep, that fake phony, Josh Barnes from Disconnected Records had a Google alert on my name, had a Google alert on James Kenneth Graham's name. I don't know. Sounds very strange to me. Ugh, a bunch of phonies. And that's why that guy over at where I was working over here at US Art talked about Illinois Nazis. Because that's what they were saying. They were trying to gear me up, and they were fucking trying to shit talk me into being, quote unquote, the new Manson. Anytime, anywhere, son. Anytime, anywhere. I don't play these games. What a bunch of phonies. Again, what's the point of going into the penitentiary and doing your penance if you're going to come out and behave like that? I was the one talking about the Manson Industrial Complex. Why? Because that was our lifetime. In our lifetime, I am an Ed Sanders man. Okay? I read the book by Ed Sanders. I was fringe. Right? One of my first songs in Urban Upset was called Youth Patrol, because there was a song called Youth Patrol, or there was a band, I meant to say, I'm sorry. There was a band called Youth Patrol in the Detroit punk rock scene. And I got my bass player, my first bass from Madigan. I can't remember his first name. Bob Madigan, who was in the punk scene earlier than me. He was at the Freezer. He was doing all that. He was in a band with Rocco, period. That's the guy who was haranguing me on the phone. These guys are liars. They're LARPers. And it's really disgusting, dude. Hey, man, if you don't want to be somebody's friends, then stop fronting like a bitch. I never reached out to you. I thought we were all cool. Reaching out to them on Facebook. No. right? So Bob Madigan sells me a bass with Youth Patrol on it. I never saw Youth Patrol. I'm a kid. I'm a child. I'm in high school. I had to work. I was a full-time alcoholic. I was a full-time looking for weed guy. Everyone was looking for weed. I had to go to school and I worked full-time. In 1979, okay, I'm a 13-year-old kid. We were open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays at the pizzeria. I had to work until 2 a.m. I was working till 2 a.m. as a little kid. Okay? I grew up in a very different time, the BC era, before computers. You understand? So, what we're talking about here is my property. It's called We Are Martian. We have to create a religion for these people to follow. It'd be like a theosophy, something like that. That's why I study these religions. What people don't understand is that each person is entitled to their own belief structure. Okay? So why don't you show me every single mammal's version of their Neanderthal? Okay? Right? That's why I stay away from fringe topics. I don't care about, quote unquote, the truth. That's what they were calling people. Right? They're putting somebody's search for the truth in the pejorative, then you know that you're living in a backwards society. Right? And we also know this old guard, this old school guard, like the ones in the plumbers, right? Those guys died with a lie on their lips. E. Howard Hunt never came out and confessed his part in the murder of JFK, but he did it in so many words. Why? Because there was a lot of people involved. Okay? And don't forget, his wife died in a very suspicious plane crash. It sounds bizarre to me, but hey, that's PD, police department. Plausible deniability. Right? So I always go forward with all my projects. I don't care if it makes it look like I'm jumping around, because as a creative person, this is what I do. I can't write songs. I lost my guitar. It was $1,000 guitar. We could have got it back, guys, for $300. I'm really sad I lost that guitar, but hey, oh well. I'm getting ready to lose the place where I live. Okay? I'm losing it all. And that's why I stood up for myself and I said, hey, F you, man. You don't get to run game on me. Not for all these years. When I kept my mouth shut, when it came to Yolanda, are you insane? Yeah, I think they are. I honestly think they are. Many of them. As soon as I left and I finally got out of Michigan, I had to do I got my 90 days. I got longer than that, like 6 months sober, right? I got 6 months sober. And I got the fuck out of there. Who's the first person who rolled up on me? Fed rat. Total Fed rat. What did he have? Tattoos. Right? Punk rock. Tattoos. Driving a Crown Vic from New York. Oh, what do I care? You don't have to roll up on me, son. You keep going. Keep doing your drug deals or whatever it is you do. I could care less. You don't threaten me. I'm not worried about it at all. I think you're a joke. Right? Because why? Because guys started throwing their weight around like that in my old neighborhood when I was a little kid. All they are is all talk, no action. That's it. Right? So, but again, now they're using this sophisticated tech and they're going to let people just do whatever they want. Why? Because they were the moral police to begin with. They were setting people up. They are the Duty Dollar Show. And in case you don't know, I came up in a time of... There's a lot of free associations here. Cable access. Okay, this is the BC era, before computers. They had something called cable access television. Okay? And a lot of people, like Squirt TV, that guy got a show on MTV, right? They were getting ready to give him a show. He had a show in his basement. He was just a kid, right? It was like that skit on Saturday Night Live. Whatever. They made a movie out of it. Whatever. So they had cable access, and these guys would put shit on a dollar bill, and they would videotape you from up on top of a building in New York. They had a lot of stuff on there. They had Robin Bird. There was like fetish shows, sex shows. They would come on regular TV after 1 a.m. Right? Anyway, this was the 90s. This was in New York. This is when I was coming up. This is when people started taking the mick out of, well, what I do. After Zoolander came out, that, you know, hey, Gordon, you're Zoolander. You're stupid. You're never going to know. Yeah, I knew a lot, but I kept my fucking mouth shut. That's what I knew how to fucking do. Unlike now. Sorry. Anyway, so again, I just wanted to point out that that's where that came from, the Illinois Nazi threat over on this job over here. Hey, buddy, good luck riding your bike through Compton to work, pal. Asshole. You know, I pretty much had it with these people. And that was it. This last job I worked at, forget it. I'm not going to tolerate this type of behavior anymore. You know, I had this guy. See, I'm not completely honest. I asked this guy, I'm like, man, I need a place to sleep, man. I got to fix my car. They trashed it anyway, so what difference does it make? That's where my money went. Like, in case you don't know, I lived for 6 months here off of $400. That's it. That's all I had was $400. And I lived off that for 6 months, right? And I had some phony, fake friend, dirtbag, one of these guys who were in my computer for like years. Ugh, so creepy, dude. So creepy. And again, with this tech, that's what they're doing. They're doing the Duty Dollar show on everybody. They're going to be putting things out and see who takes it. Well, how do you know something's not in the garbage? Oh, well, sorry. Right? And this is their little trick. Oh, well, he stole a purse. Really? Because, or no, he stole a backpack, say, right? A bag or whatever. Merce. A lot of guys wear purses now. Oh, look at mine. There's mine right there. Hey. Oh, well, it was right by the where they put the garbage. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. You had it. Did you have it in your possession? Yes, I did. Well, go ahead. You're going to have to plead guilty. We have to justify our salaries. This is how the system worked. This is the good old boy network, right? And why are we talking about it on this show? Because I lived through it. I know for a fact. That's why I know my family doesn't know shit from shoe polish. And neither do a lot of other phonies, right? And a lot of stuff online, people started to see through this bullshit, right? Early on, I've transcended that. I'm not interested in figuring out, you know, these big crimes, you know, who shot JR, who shot JFK, like, it's the same. You guys remember Dallas? Right? Who shot JR? I think I just lost my spot in. It's supposed to have a spot in there to plug in. Anyways, I'm going to have to wrap it up here. So, part of the property, We Are Martian. They go to Mars and they start developing their own tech. What do you think they're doing up there? Who do you think is going to go to Mars? They're going to pick the smartest people, right? You're going to have to pass some type of test, right? And then through the gravitational pull, as the people are getting born, the Martians are being born, it's pulling their skulls. You have that soft skull when you're a child, and so it's affecting their skulls as children, and that skull is getting bigger. And maybe the brain is coming together. Finally, you have the two I was talking about before, the two hemispheres of the brain, right? You have this one decides this one decides that. Well, now all of a sudden the brains are getting bigger, right? They used to believe this a long time ago, like the bigger the head you had, like the more smarter you were. It's like, yeah, good luck. What is it? Dave and Goliath? I mean, not so much. Okay, so, and then you have where the stars are fixed from the point of view of Mars, which you can do mathematically. That's how they did all that stuff. That's how Christopher Nolan and those guys created Interstellar. It was through mathematics. What's possible? What's not possible? What could be out there? Right? This is a model that is the best guess of all the smartest minds. That's what it's supposed to be. Unlike this show, it's just my mind. And so this is what I'm showing you. This is what I'm telling you. These stories, my show is for entertainment purposes, right? I don't care about some fake Manson narrative. I don't care about these idle threats from these phonies. We are not animals. You don't treat people like animals, but that's what they're gonna do. They did it to me for years. They did it through your device, and that's how they're doing corrective behavior. Thank you very much for watching my show. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know.